Hello guys, I'm Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm doing a very fun video. I'm so excited. I did a poll on my Instagram or my Bookstagram asking which video I should film today, and this is the one you chose. Today, I'm going to be telling you all of my 5-star reads from 2023 up until now. More up until like July. I've read 87 books in 2023, and these are all of the books that I rated 5 stars. Either I rated them 5 stars immediately upon reading them. On further review, I decided to rate them 5 stars. Whatever the case may be. I do have to say that I'm not including any books in the Throne of Glass series in this video because I haven't fully finished the series, so I haven't decided which books are 5 stars. So maybe I'll do a second video to this at the end of the year, who knows. Every other book is included, so let's just get on into it, shall we? I have most of them my own, but a few of them I will put on the screen. I also wanted to say that I feel like I've tried to get a little bit more picky with my 5-star reads because I feel like I used to rate books 5 stars all the time, and now upon further reflection over the past few years, those books were not 5 stars. So I've tried to be more picky. If there's something that bothers me in the book, I will lower the rating. Even if I love the book so much, if there's one specific thing that I didn't like about it, it won't be a 5-star read. Sometimes I'll just get a feeling and I'll like know that it's 5 stars. Sometimes it'll just be literally perfect from beginning to end. I loved every moment of it, or it just deserves 5 stars. Usually I have a feeling, or I loved everything about it. If there's something I didn't like about the book, I probably rated it lower than 5 stars. So anyways, let's get to it. First is Believe Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the last book in the Shatter Me series. Well, technically the last novella. I read most of the Shatter Me series in 2022, and it was one of my favorite book series of the year, but I did finish it in 2023. And I just love this book so much. It was like the sweetest, most amazing ending. I loved it so much. I feel like I just needed this for these characters, and I was like, they went through so much to get to this point, and it was just beautiful. So I had to give it 5 stars. It's just perfect. If you haven't read the Shatter Me series, you should. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I highly recommend it. Next is Dream On by Angie Hockman. I read this in January as well, and at first I think I gave it like a 4.5 maybe, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I rated it, or I upped the rating to 5 stars because I loved it so much. So this is a just like really sweet, wholesome romance. It was so cute, and it's also perfect for the summer. If you're looking for a summer read, this is perfect. It follows Cass, and she wakes up after surviving a car accident, looking for Devin. Devin doesn't exist. A year later, she meets Devin. So that's kind of the plot of this book, but it was so cute. I feel like different than most romances, and I really loved it. Then I am including my rereads in this because I feel like I did read them this year, and I did rate them 5 stars. So next is Daisy Jones and the Six. I read this like in 2020, I want to say, or maybe 2021. Yeah, 2021, I think. And I wanted to reread it before the show came out, and it was so good. Everything that I was hoping for and more. I feel like it was better the second time. Like, it was just so good. This is about a band in the 70s, and like it's basically like an interview style of the bandmates years later talking about what happened when they were together. So good. I loved it so much. Next, we have the Magnolia Parks universe. I just put all 4 of these books because I did rate them all 5 stars. So I did read Daisy Hates in January because I had already read Magnolia Parks a couple years ago. And so I was like, I'm just gonna give Daisy Hates a chance because I didn't like Magnolia Parks when I first read it, but that was because I went into it with wrong expectations. So I read Daisy Hates, loved it so much that I had to read the next 2 books. So I read Magnolia Parks on my way home, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, and I rated them both 5 stars. And I rated Daisy Hates 5 stars. And then in June, maybe, I reread Magnolia Parks and gave it 5 stars because it's just so good. Also, I'm wearing my shirt that says The Great Undoing for Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. I just love the series so much. It literally, I think about it often. It has such a special place in my heart, and I cannot wait for the rest of the series, but also I'm scared because Jessica Hastings just announced the title of Magnolia Parks 3. I'm scared, but it's just so good. It is like, some people say there's like no plot, just vibes kind of situation in these books. It's basically about these characters that live in London, high society London. They're rich, they're famous, they have relationships, everything that's just going on in their lives. And so Magnolia Parks is about Magnolia and BJ, and then Daisy Hates, the Daisy Hates side of it is about Christian, Daisy, and Julian. So Julian Hates, I love him so much. So it's kind of a little brief description, but I just love them so much. Jessica Hastings' writing is just so good. I do not know how she does it. And these books, like these characters, you just feel for them and love them through everything that they're going through. So next is Practice Makes Perfect. I think I read this in between some of those, but I have read this twice this year because I loved it so much. This is after the second book after When in Rome, and there's going to be 2 other books in the Rome, Kentucky series. And this is about Annie, who is a flower shop owner, and Will, who is a bodyguard, and It's just so sweet, so wholesome. Literally, I was giddy, smiling, laughing the whole time. I have a reading vlog on this, so actually I have a reading vlog on a lot of these, and it's just so cute. Literally perfect. I loved it. I don't know what to say about these books other than they're perfect and I love them. You know? Next is Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmerer. This is the first book in, I guess, the Defy the Night series. I don't know. The next book is Defend the Dawn, and then Destroy the Day comes out in January, and I love this series so much, but I gave 5 stars to the first one. I thought this was just so good. So interesting. I was on the edge of my seat, like wanting to know what was going to happen. It's very easy to understand. This is a YA fantasy about basically this like kingdom that has been overrun by a disease. So you're just kind of following a couple of the characters in that situation. I just love the series so much, and I cannot wait for the third book. I need to know what happens. The second book is really good, but the first one I gave 5 stars and I loved it. So if you're looking for a fantasy that'll like be easy to understand if you were introducing yourself to fantasy, I really recommend this. And this is more like kingdoms, which I really love. I love a kingdom in a fantasy. It's just so good. Next we have I Can Fix That by Juliana Smith. I love this book so much. I keep saying that. We know, Bethany, we know. This is Juliana's first book, and I had read Baggage Claim in December and loved it so much. So I was like, I want to read her other book. So I read this one, and it's about a girl who is looking for someone to work on her house, like renovate her house. And so you meet the contractor who's doing that, and it's just so sweet, so good. I loved every minute of it. And so as I read that, I was so excited for her next book, which I also rated 5 stars per my last email. Love this so much. It's a friends and lovers in the workplace. So cute. A lot of people say it's like Jim and Pam vibes from The Office. Never seen it, so I can't tell you that, but it's just so cute, so wholesome, and I feel like if you're looking for a good, wholesome rom-com, she's your girl. And there's also a second book coming out of this series, and I beta read it, and it's so good as well. So I love all her books. You love Sarah Adams, I think you'll love her books as well. Next, I actually just decided to include this book because I feel like I think about this book all the time. It wasn't on my initial list because I made this list like a couple months ago of my 5-star reads so far this year, and I didn't include this, but I can't stop thinking about it. So here it is, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I think when I first read it, I gave it 4.75, so it was very close to a 5-star. But now I don't even know why I gave it 4.75. I think it was just because I was like, I didn't want to, I don't know. But I'm giving it 5 stars now because I loved it so much. I got an ARC of this in April, and it is so good. If you don't know, she wrote The Dead Romantics, which I also really loved. I read it last year. It's so good. But this is following Clementine, and she inherited this apartment from her aunt, and she's also a publicist, a book publicist. And one day she walks into her apartment, and there's a guy there who lives 7 years in the past. So it's like a time travel kind of situation, which is so interesting, and it's just so good. And this cover is just so cute. I had to get the physical copy because I love it so much. I'm thinking about rereading it soon and tabbing it because it is just so sweet. I feel like it felt like magical for reading it. Like there's natural realism elements in it, but it just felt magical reading it, and I loved it. Now I'm gonna do a couple rereads in a row because I did reread these both. Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Obviously love these books so much, highly recommend them. This is one of my favorite romance books literally of all time, and so I had to reread it for the release, but I also wanted to reread Part of Your World before I read this, and they're both incredible. Like, Abby Jimenez has such good books. I read them all 5 stars. So good. This is about Daniel and Alexis. It's like a small town. He is a carpenter. She is a like big city doctor. And then this one is about Alexis' best friend Bree, and then Jacob, who's also a doctor, and it's just so good. This touches on anxiety and just everything about these. I love them so much. Like, I highly recommend. If you're looking for some good romances, please read those. So good. Next is Our Final Love Song by N.S. Perkins. This book, literally, I read so quickly because it's so good. So basically it's about Emma and Jamie, and they are on their way to this like musician camp because they're both pianists. They're struggling in their relationship, and then when they get there, they are 1 year in the past. So it's like a time travel situation, relationship in crisis, and it is so good. Jamie is a sweetheart, and I flew through it. Like, if you're looking for a summer romance, camp rock for adults, you should read this. So good. Then Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. This book was so good. It is very emotional, so if you're looking for more of an emotional romance, this is what you should pick up. So this is about Bea. She's gone through a tragedy in her life, and she ends up having to move in with her dad, who lives in a beach house, and she meets the next door neighbor, Samson, and you just follow that, and I just love this. I think it's definitely one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books, and I had to have the physical copy, and the cover is so cute. Once you read the book, the cover is so cute, and it just fits with the story, and I just love these characters and this book so much. Next, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is one of my favorite books of 2023. Literally so good. Emily Henry's writing is incredible. This is about Harriet and Wynn, and basically they were dating for years, but they broke up, but they're going on this trip with their friends, and so they're like, we'll just pretend that we didn't break up, that we're still together, you know, to keep the peace on this trip. And so you're getting like that dynamic, the second chance romance, but you're also getting the friendships and the summer setting and like the nostalgia, learning who you are. I love Emily Henry's writing, and her banter is so good, like top notch. And I just love this book so much, and I cannot wait for any other book that she comes out with. It's just gonna be so good. Next is Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is in the Chestnut Springs series. I think it's the 3rd book, and it's about Jasper and Sloane. I love Jasper so much. He's literally a sweetheart angel, one of my favorite book boyfriends of all time, and I just love this book. This is a cowboy romance series, but this one specifically is about Jasper is a football player and Sloane is a ballerina. They are best friends, like best friends to lovers, like childhood friends to lovers, and just everything about this series is so good. We also get the found family from the previous books. Highly recommend you read the previous books, but they're so good, and this book is my favorite. It was just so sweet. I was literally like smiling, melting at Jasper the entire time. So love him so much, love this book. The next book is The Good Part by Sophie Cousins. I read an arc of this. It comes out in November, and you definitely need to pre-order it. It is so good. I feel like it's kind of different than most of these romances, where it's about this girl who is like in her mid-20s. She's kind of struggling with her job, her living situation, dating, all that stuff, and so she stumbles upon a wishing machine, and she wishes to be in the good part of her life, and then she wakes up 15, 16 years in the future with kids, a husband, and you just go from there. It is so good. I literally sobbed at the end of this. I vlogged it if you would like to see me sobbing. And it was just like, I feel like I learned so much in that book. Like, it just reminded me of how like beautiful life is. And I just loved it so, so much. Next is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Oh my goodness, I will shove this into anyone's hands that will listen to me. It is so good. One of the best fantasy books I've ever read. It's about Iris, and she's working for this newspaper publication, I guess, newspaper thing, and she's wanting a promotion, but she's competing against Roman for this promotion. And so there's kind of like that like rivals situation, but also there's a war going on between two gods, and her brother went off to fight in the war, and she has this typewriter. She writes notes to him and puts them in her closet in hopes that he would get them, and then someone writes back, but it is not her brother. It is Roman, who works with her, which it's just so good. Like the letters, the romance in this, the writing in this, literally perfect. I cannot wait for the 2nd book to come out in December. I need it right now. Like, this is just so good. If you want an introductory to fantasy, this is what you should read. I really don't think I will ever forget this book. It's perfect in my eyes. It's perfect, and it is pretty sold out everywhere, but I'm pretty sure the author said that Amazon should be getting more books, so it should ship sooner than Amazon says. But anyways, you need to read this book. That's all I have to say. Next is The Roommate Pact by Allison Ashley. Literally, this is one of my favorite romance books of all time. Like, I read it in July, and it's literally incredible. Like, I think about this book, and I'm like, should I reread it? Like, I need to pick it up and just reread it. Read my tabs. It's just perfect. It's about Claire and Graham, and they are roommates. She is a nurse, and he is a firefighter, and you're just kind of following that kind of forced proximity, friends to lover situation, and it is perfect. So good. I'm obsessed with this book. The dynamic between the characters and Graham is just a sweetheart, where he is tearing down his walls for the female main character. So sweet. I love them. I love this book. So, and then lastly, we have A Little Magic by Lindsay Lanza. This book comes out in October, I want to say, and I read an arc of it in July. Yeah, in July. And it is just so sweet. It's this wholesome, sweet holiday romance, second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers, brother's best friend, holiday vibes, snowing, cozying up by the fire. That's kind of the vibes that we're getting from this book, and it was just so sweet, so perfect. I couldn't think of the one thing I didn't like about it, so I gave it 5 stars. I read it recently, and I was like, I don't know what to rate it, but I was like, no, it's a 5-star book. It was so good. Highly recommend it. You should pre-order. It comes out October 3rd, I want to say, and it was just so sweet. Like, I literally was just loving every minute of it. So those are my 5-star reads of 2023 so far. I feel like all I said was so good, and I love it so much. But that's how I feel about these books. They're all perfect, amazing. Highly recommend literally all of them. And I think I had like 20 here, including rereads. 21, including rereads. So that feels pretty good out of 87 books. How much percentage is that? I don't know, like a fourth of the books that I read I gave 5 stars. That feels pretty good. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your 5-star reads of 2023. What books you loved? You can tell me in the comments, DM me, all that stuff. But I think that's it. So I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.